Peace, peace and love. All right, y'all. So I don't know if y'all know me well enough yet, as I only recently began to jump into the discourse in the boxing world with my perspective and my take. So you guys are definitely still getting to know me, but if you don't know or haven't peeped so far from my commentary, I'm very much interested in an upright intellectual analysis of boxing, of fighters, and everything in between relating to that matter. So today, I wanted to get into some very analytical conversation just regarding a going theme and narrative right now. And that has actually been kind of prevailing for some time. This isn't new. What has been circulating in the boxing world regarding this frame of thought. And I wanted to speak to you about it today and hopefully generate some interest towards it and some further analysis from your viewpoint upon you tapping in. So the question for me is, what is this urge, this need, this stipulation, this ultimatum-centered and centric perspective given by boxing fans nowadays that a fighter, a warrior, should remain undefeated? What is this perspective? What is this logic? Firstly, a staggering majority of boxers have taken losses. That is no secret. You know, we can go through the names, throughout history and look them all up or whatever. With the exception of Money Mayweather. Okay? The king, the GOAT, TBE. We love Mayweather. We know him. We celebrate him. Now, at least. That wasn't always the case when he was on his rise to achieving what he ultimately ended up achieving, which was the coveted undefeated position, 50-0. But he is loved now in hindsight. We look back in retrospect and we can see that. So that Money Mayweather blessing or curse, however you choose to look at it, stands as it is because he set forth the path. With that being said, that blessing or curse, depending on what side of the mirror you're on, can't fly here at this time, okay? At this particular time, 2024. It could not be used as a cloak, in my humble opinion, to determine the greatness of the men of the era today. He did what he did in his time, and he did a hell of a job. I got to say it in his voice, a hell of a, because Mayweather loves saying hell of a, okay? He did a hell of a job, and we love him and know him for that, as I tapped into. But that cannot apply here today, here now among this talent. These men of today have to solidify and determine their own path in their own way. Okay? That undefeated title that Mayweather was able to achieve and claim does not, I repeat for the bitches in the back, does not define my fighters. Should any of my fighters, any of them, from AJ to EJ to Crawford to Tank to Devin Haney, and the list goes on, you guys. Any of my guys, any of my bros, my kings, should any of them remain undefeated, or should they had prior to, if any of them mentioned that have received losses that I mentioned, remain undefeated, credit to them. If any of them who haven't faced defeat of my fighters remain undefeated, credit to them for that icing on the cake. But my priority, me, sugar-free Mars, my priority is the elite facing their fellow elites. I don't give a goddamn damn about, having an O on your record. That means nothing to me. If you have it, it is fine. If you do not, it is fine. Shout out to BFTB for being one of the first people on these platforms who I've heard tote that banner, who felt exactly the same way that I do. Shout out to the King BF, because it is absolutely true for me as well. It is of no detriment to my support for a fighter that they no longer retain an undefeated status. That's not what determines and sets forth my attention, my loyalty, and my accolades for them, for the people who I deem my warriors, mine. Okay? It's quite curious to me, the fickle train of thought that seems to, have permeated the discourse around boxing, just as a whole. I've long felt that the people should be very wary about these types of pervading narratives, just for the sake of going with it. People basically subscribing to a kind of groupthink mentality, not really separating and determining for themselves how they feel about a particular fighter, or because a narrative is going on about a particular fighter, whether they're defeated or undefeated, just kind of blindly siding with no sense of discrimination whatsoever in their thoughts, just going along with it for the sake of it. I don't subscribe to that kind of groupthink mentality just because a journalist or a broadcast promotes a particular thought. That is not my way of doing things. I've said it time and time and time again. At least on this platform, what I look to do is initiate and propel dialogue that calls for the use of one's own interpretation and critical thinking. That is my point. That's why I wanted to posit my own thoughts via my own platform, and add to the sense of dialogue that's going on. Add to it, but yet stay in a lane, or create a lane of my own likeness that can speak to the intelligent boxing fan. Because or the intelligent, you can love boxing, but have a sense of intelligence about how you pursue with discrimination. Discrimination is a good thing, logically speaking. You should be thinking and judging and being cognizant of all intel and information around you, and deciphering for yourself what is of use, what is not of use. That should be something that's happening constantly. Your girl Mars does not look to, have anybody subscribe to a sense of groupthink. Come in. I promote you thinking for yourself. I promote you subscribing fully to what it is that you believe, but also questioning what you believe when new information may be presented to you. It's what we should be doing as intelligent adults. And that's what I look to do on this channel. I just want the critical thinking at work. Despite whatever theme is going on in boxing, use your critical thinking, use your analysis, have your own interpretations, develop, your own formulations, and make distinctive, clear thought based upon that. Okay? So in that sense, despite the going theme about boxing in general, that it's kind of a brute sport and you just get in there, you get punched up, and the fans are also kind of like this, mind-numbed population that watch this sport. Despite that whole kind of stigma that's associated and attributed to boxing for me is the intellectual man's sport. Real talk. Just because it's combative, it does not signify a lack of intelligence. In fact, I posit that it takes skill to think out a plan, strategize, and conquer your opponents with that plan. Okay? The generals know what time it is. Any real warrior in history knows what time it is. Your government, your standing government knows what time that is. Okay? You can't have a sucker or a fool planning out a battle strategy and thinking that it's going to come out successfully. Only the most intelligent of the intelligent can be in that room strategizing, putting these things together. Boxing is a combat sport. These people get in here, they develop their plans, and when they come out successful is because the intelligence was at work and it was put 100% to use, despite any challenges or hindrances presented in the commencement of that battle. It takes intelligence to do this particular type of job. And that's really what I wanted to also, just a side note, center when I did the Matthias video, was like, yes, brute force is definitely necessary. It is a large portion of what the battle calls for, but it's the intelligence that sets it forth. Without that, you have nothing. That is the spark that ignites any action thereafter that. So anyway, getting into some psychoanalysis here, as I like to do. I'm a very deep thinker. If you didn't feel that, I guess by now. So looking into a more psychoanalytical position, which I think is important to do, I got a question for you. Is this sudden demand that a fighter remain undefeated a cry from the public's sense, the onlookers, the spectators' own sense of a defeated mindset? Is this coming from an inner sense of feeling defeated as a public, as a viewer, as a fan, the people who are not in the gyms with these fighters, the people who are, on the sidelines, the onlookers? Are they themselves defeated? Is this being generated from that basis of a defeatist mindset from onlookers? Where in one's life, majoritively speaking, where in one's life one feels inept, let's say, not goal-oriented, they feel bereft in their life? Is it coming from that place? So much so that they begin to impose upon people of outstanding talent and abilities. They begin to impose upon them a tight, stipulatory type confinement, one that demands an excellence that they themselves aren't even attaining or don't see themselves attaining. It's really a deep look, but I posit that I'm speaking to people who can take this type of thought, who can dig it, who dig where I'm coming from, right? Is it coming from that place, from that well, the well that doesn't runneth over, let's say, in a people, where now they demand from people of upstanding ability and talent and accomplishments that they never fall, so that they become porcelain, they become, snow that hasn't been stepped on, hasn't been seen at the mountaintop, never to be, violated, never to be made impure by their definition of impurity. Is that what is happening now because they themselves are not that? It's a really deep psychoanalysis here, but I wanted to get the dialogue generated and going on that, because we've got to look at this as a boxing community, because this is what is pervading in the boxing community. And I'd be a liar if I said I didn't see it permeating and seeping through even people of boxing intelligence, even, of people of like minds to me, or of like minds to, people who are boxers are now getting into this mentality, which I'll touch into in just a second. But I wanted to put that out there, okay? I know that boxing is a sport, but boxing, real talk, is a reflection of social constructs. These people do not operate outside of reality. They themselves are a part of society. They themselves participate in daily life and have interactions and stuff like that. It isn't separate from the norms of daily existence and interaction. Moreover, with this particular frame of thought, Why does the media perpetuate this narrative? Like pump it out, like solidify it, stamp it, pump it out. Why is the media perpetuating it? Okay? And what I mean by that is, why are talks and calls for retirement, let's say, for example, the first line of reasoning when a fighter takes a loss in headlines or in broadcast platforms and things like that? That and that way is what I mean by why is it being perpetuated via the media? Why is retirement the first line of reasoning that they take as a stance, as a mode of action, as a resolution when a fighter takes a loss? Okay? It was absolutely rampant in the aftermath of Anthony Joshua's defeats. The boy couldn't turn left. The boy couldn't turn goddamn right. Oh, you should retire, Sharon. Sharon, I don't think this is for you. Is your heart still in it? You heard it. You're probably among the people who said it. Okay? So it was rampant in the aftermath of his defeats. It ran a tirade among the dialogue surrounding Earl Spence Jr.'s one loss to Terrence Crawford. People are still saying it, oddly enough. Keith Thurman, okay, he was no stranger to being severely questioned when he took his first loss to Manny Pacquiao, one of the GOATs of recent years. So the list goes on and on and on of scenarios that we can go here and pick and choose, of the recent years at least. How many people have been subjected to this type of rhetoric? It's insane when you look at it, when you look at the potency and relevancy of this particular issue. If these men have not it's like these men haven't given of themselves, haven't given of their lives to attempt the solidifying of their legacy among their heroes. That's what you would think, that they should just bypass all the work that they do, all the years that they put in, all the dreams that they've had, all the no's that they've been told, all the blood, sweat, and tears, like getting up at 4 a.m. and leaving the warm bedside of their families to go do road work, to prep for battle for weeks at a time, for years at a time, is for naught. You feel like, what the hell? I put all this work in. Okay, I got a loss. Does that mean I'm going to stop here and shit on all the legacy that I done built for myself, all the hard work, all the years I put in, all the time I put in, everything I sacrificed for this? It's like, EJ, hell no. Like, EJ should be given 1,000 times more credit than he does. That man is relentless. This man been flung from a goddamn moving Ferrari and came back and whooped goddamn Danny Garcia's behind. Okay? Didn't think twice about it. Man done messed up his eye. Was still ready to fight Pacquiao, even despite the doctor's orders. Thankfully, he, wound up following those doctor's orders, but he was still ready to go. He was still on 10. He didn't want to miss that opportunity and give that up to Ugas. He wanted to be the man to dethrone Manny Pacquiao, to send his ass back into retirement, back to goddamn Philippines. That's the spirit I'm talking about. Then he took a hell of a beating like we haven't seen in goddamn ages to Terrence Crawford, and he's still about that life. Nah, let's run that shit back. Good shit. That was good. Yeah, that was good. I like that. Let's do it again. This is the spirit that we're talking about. You want him to go home and retire and motherfucking play golf? You want him walking around his house slippers, in his house with his slippers broken down and goddamn playing patty cake with the house dog? That type of warrior energy and spirit? You trying to send him back home? Nah. I don't want him going back home until he said, yo, I'm ready to go home. Then I'll hand him the goddamn keys. I'll drive him home my goddamn self when that time comes. But until he says that, I back him in his warrior energy, and I back all my fighters, all my warriors, because that's the type of supporter that I am. I want to see them go for it. I don't give a goddamn how many times they got to try to get it. As long as they trying to get it, I'm inspired. I'm going to try to get it with them. What happened to that energy in boxing? It's absolutely insane to me. People are so frivolous with their emotions these days. They're more interested in jumping in front of a fighter. For instance, like with what's happening with Tank right now. He recently came out and said, yo, I done beat the shit out of Sean Porter. What the fuck I look like being scared of Devin? Now, he's not so quick to, send over a contract to Devin, him being in the A side position over Devin if they were to have a bout. But he's saying, I ain't got no problem fighting, Dev if he's if he's the supposed weight bully that everybody's saying he is. I'll fuck him up too. I've had no problem fucking up Sean Porter in sparring. But here go the fans. Oh, no, Devin, he's way too heavy. He's too heavy. Did you see how much he was walking around at? He's too heavy. Tank can't possibly fight him. Tank is naturally a 126 pounder. Tank is a little dude. Tank is only 5'3". It's like, well, do you believe in your fighter or not? If he believes in himself, shouldn't you be right at his side? You know what I mean? With the Glock at your side, ready to get this business when he is? Y'all just are not about that. Like, y'all just on some sidelines, type of, clickbait, Twitter finger ass fans. And listen, if you fit in that category, then that is definitely for you. If you don't, then I salute you. I rock with you, and I value, and trust your opinion if you were to share it upon the discourse of this video. But I just don't salute or respect the mentality that exists that seems to be so frivolous and so fickle now, so emotionally unstable regarding these fighters. And that actually supports the demise of the mentality of these fighters, as we'll discuss in just a second. But yeah, like these people put in way too much time to just, simply after just as a matter of taking a defeat, one loss or two losses, or however many goddamn losses. How many goddamn times did Manny Pacquiao lose? You know what I'm saying? How many times did damn Tyson lose? Like what? Like you acting like this is new. No, you lose and you can keep going. You can keep going. You can still be accredited as one of the best of your time. As long as you put forth the Lionheart energy, and as long as you solidified your business and put some respect on your own goddamn name in the process, people will rock with you. It's proven. So we don't even have to discuss that further. But the proof is in the pudding. It really makes me question what has become of the intelligence of the boxing fan, the so-called boxing fan today. Who are these low-thinking individuals? And who are these outlets promoting to with this type of bait that they put out in this mentality? And for what reason is this prompted and promoted, to cater to this particular mindset and mentality? It's a very big question that I hope people are thinking about or will think about upon hearing it asked today. How is this particular type of promotion, as I was alluding to earlier, I'm going to get into it a little bit now. How is this particular type of promotion leading to the epidemic of fighters ducking other fighters? Okay? Because with all this talk permeating around about O's and keeping them and protecting them and, you don't want to get beat now, you hear? How is this contributing, to the lack of gusto that fighters themselves are now exhibiting by avoiding other fighters? That's a big question, and it's one that is very prevalent in the landscape that we see happening currently on the boxing scene, okay? So now that there's a running fear of being defeated, fighters have defeated themselves by defeating the opportunity for growth, for progress, for the sharpening of their swords. So this obsession with the defeatist mentality leads them to be just that. It leaves them defeated because there is no hunger to improve. There's no hunger to match energies and clash swords and trade leather with the best that say, yo, I don't give a fuck what happens. We're going to go to bat right now and we're going to do the damn thing. I don't give a fuck what the outcome is, but I know I'm going to come out stronger because of it. Because I salute this warrior in front of me. And if I overcome him, that's a testament to my strength. And if I don't, it's a testament to my strength to come. You understand what I'm saying? There's a win in everything. The defeat comes with your mentality, the logic behind what you do with the outcome of whatever it is that you're facing. Okay. Is the lion heart becoming extinct, y'all? Like, what's really good? Are the fickle boxing fans the cause of this, driving force behind it? Our support, not ours, because I do not consider myself a part of that, but I'll include myself because I am the boxing community as well. What are we really supporting with that type of rhetoric? What are we really calling forth from the fighters that we say we love, for the fighters that we say we respect? Are we calling out for the worst in them? Really, really think about that and digest that, y'all. Okay? And with these fighters type of staying on the sidelines and, let's say, keeping, for the ones that are, by way of avoidance, keeping an undefeated stature, does that really keep them in our graces for real? Because as I began with speaking of Floyd Mayweather and mentioning that he is now loved, but he was not loved when he was in the process of retaining this type of unsoiled record. He was not loved when he was Pretty Boy. Okay? People couldn't stand him. They were praying for his downfall, praying. There's people literally like, yo, I can't stand him every year, but he can't win all the time. Haters. Okay? So I know he get the flowers now, and everybody's so used to saying Mayweather and the GOAT, and I said the GOAT, excuse me, Mayweather and the GOAT, and the TBE. We're so used to saying that now, but he was not supported when he was in pursuit of that TBE title that he gave himself. He knew it, because he'd been calling himself that, and he's been saying what he's been saying. He always had that inner confidence in himself and in his team. But it took a while for the other people to catch on. And while they were in the process of discrediting him, they were also in the process of praying for his downfall, that he wouldn't achieve that. So does that undefeated, that wouldn't change now just because it's a new era, it's a new day. There are still people with the defeatist mindset who would say, oh yeah, they give all the credit to a fighter for being undefeated and wanting to protect them, but they won't really be in their graces. The fighter won't really remain in their graces as if they're in pursuit of that undefeated stature that they covet so much, because they would still talk shit about them. Fighters would still go through it, as is happening today. There's some undefeated fighters who get hated on constantly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it doesn't change now. So will they really be in our graces with this? No, either way it goes, you're still going to be shitted on. So why not go out there and fight the best? That's what I want my fighters to be doing. It doesn't keep you in these fickle fans' graces. So you should not be listening to the advice, the half-attempted advice that these people are giving you. Oh, well, you shouldn't fight. The excuses that people just lay out like carpets in front of these fighters, and these fighters are now believing, well, I could just swerve this and go for, the easy whatever, the easy out, or I could just sit here and not fight at all and just fucking write a goddamn Twitter post or something like that. Like, nah. These fighters are human. They listen to the rhetoric. They listen to the whatever is predominantly parading around, and they take it into consideration. You don't know what is seeping into these people's consciousness about it and how they're digesting it and how it may be triggering or affecting their movements. That's definitely something to think about, So let's think about that. Let's be more forward thinking as an intelligent boxing community. And I'm speaking to the intelligent people. If you're not among that, then you go ahead and keep doing your motherfucking shucking and jiving somewhere else. But for the people who are cognizant and are looking for some sense of clarity, keep doing it. Keep voicing your opinions. Keep sharing your thoughts, because as boxing fans, we're not just brawl over brains. That's not how this game works. And if you're true to this, you know what time that I'm on. Let's keep the narrative positive. Let's keep the narrative inspirational, so that we can see the best fighting the best, and we can see another great era of people willing to take the chance no matter what the cost is. It's a W when you can learn something of value and substance that you did not have previous to the experience. And if that comes in a fight that is a significant fight, a life-changing fight, let's say example for EJ, we see his relentlessness once again, and what that warrior spirit calls him and entails about him. It has diminished nothing in his spirit and his sense of perseverance. He showcases better than anybody I could use that as an example right now, that there is no quit in him whatsoever. He is definitely among the greats, and any fighter of the like that has a similar mentality should be saluted, should be promoted, and respected 1000%. I am for the fighter. I am for the warrior heart, period. That's what we do. So peace to all the people aligning with that perspective, aligning with that concept. I ride with you, and we'll see what the boxing world holds moving forward. Hopefully the duckery is done for. All right, peace.